Hey guys, gals, non-binary pals, I'm your host Hannah, and this is Under the Scrubs. Alright, it's been a solid week so far. It's been very busy. Luckily, Fern hasn't had to go to the ER for any trips, so she needs to be getting her nails done because I swear to God she will do anything to avoid having them trimmed, like rolling a bunch of mulch and have an allergic reaction and have her eyes swell shut. I'm pretty sure everything in this house buying process has been going well, at least like with this house, right? I think it's just becoming more real because we gave notice to move out of our apartment. And so now I'm like, oh my God, if something happened, are we going to be homeless? And then I have this fear of being homeless. And then I'm trying to keep all my cats together and my dog. And then they're just running around or running away from me because they don't want to be with me because we're homeless. And it's kind of a fear. And no, I will not talk to anybody about it. I'm fine. I think I will miss walking through some houses and judging. Turns out I am a bona fide certified hater. Just love to judge houses and kind of like live through that. It's really fun. We went and looked at one house. I swear to God, every light was like a different aesthetic, right? Like they've got the antique looking ceiling fan. They've got like a modern, light thing in the kitchen. And then they've got like a live, laugh, love kind of ceiling chandelier thing that's actually not hardwired into the house, but it's hanging up in like a great room. It was so weird. It's just very visually overstimulating. And it's kind of funny just like go through these houses and like you're like, okay, you definitely updated. And I can tell you right now, you were a 40-year-old plus woman who definitely shops at Hobby Lobby. Like I don't know. I love doing it. I love just kind of shitting on the houses. It's just fun, okay? I'm just having a good time. And you can consider this my timeout. I am dick deep in interior design. Like I'm talking chop my hair off like Edna Mode and look like from The Incredibles. I'm looking at our bathroom sink and like, oh, do we want a vessel sink? Do we want the sit on top or kind of sink down low? Should we paint the living room in warm tones because the house faces north-south? I'm trying to figure out the feng shui of the room. Budget? Never heard of her before. Give me my husband's credit card because I'm running that shit up, I'll tell y'all. But I really feel like they should teach you about home ownership in school. Like, okay, yes, I'm dick deep in interior design, but then I'm looking at like stuff that we actually need. And I'm like, ooh, I don't want to spend the money on that. I'm on Facebook Marketplace every day, multiple times a day, like lawn mowers, leaf blowers, weed eater, power tools, pressure washer, battery versus gas, tree trimmer. Oh my God, ladders. Why are ladders so expensive? Now I let Chris have his 2 cents on what kind of tools we would need to get. That would be like gas versus, electric. I don't know. I don't really care about that, but I am just not down with spending all this money, and like this shit just keeps adding up, right? And then now we're going into the holidays, and now we're gonna have to buy like decorations for the holiday. Christmas, okay, we're gonna have to put up Christmas lights. I'm low-key a little worried about that. Seems a little scammy to me that like, we're gonna have to buy all this shit and spend all this money. But I'm just like, I'm trying to be in my era of mindful spending, where like if I'm gonna go buy something and I want it to be nice, I don't want to have to pay twice if I get a cheaper version. But like in this economy, I want the picturesque house, yes, but I also don't want to like pay $2,000 for a couch. But then I go on and I'm looking at couches and I'm like, oh, well, we could totally do this one. Like this one's cool. I mean, is it necessary that I replace my couch right now? No, but do I want to? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I don't know. I just want it to be cute. I just want it to be cute. I want to take pride in my first home. And if my mom tries to give me her 2 cents about it again, I'm just going to bill her for half of the mortgage. So look for that bill, Mom. Today's resources are WebMD, American Heart Association journals, Live Science, Cleveland Clinic, Science News Today, American Cancer Society, American Breast Cancer Foundation, Medical News Today, and the FDA. Have you ever been told something that when you grew up, you just believed it, and now you're either being told different, or like as you've gotten older, you're like, no, that's definitely not medically accurate at all? Past like the whole vaccines cause autism thing, not that, right? You can listen to the previous episode on all that, but like just things that like, hey, if you do XYZ, don't swallow watermelon seeds, like they'll grow a watermelon in your belly, or don't swallow gum, or don't stick a fork in the electrical socket. I'm just kidding, don't actually do that one. But yeah, so I figured, today it'll be a short little fun episode of just myths like that like, we grew up hearing. So myth number 1, cold weather makes you sick. It's fake news. It does affect, though, how your body can fight off infection or germs. So you can get something called chilblains or pernio, and that is small blood vessels in your skin that become inflamed from cold exposure. The capillary beds swell, and they get red and itchy, resulting in round-like patches all over your body. Now, the crazy thing is it can show up on the body in degrees as high as the 60s. That's 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So, I mean, that's kind of crazy because that's really not that low at all. Severe cases can result in ulcers. You can get cold urticaria, and this is actually more prevalent in young children. Your skin can get red and itchy due to the cold. Your hands might get puffy while holding a cold drink, and your throat and lips might swell after consuming something cold. And it usually goes away with age, though. You can obviously get frostbite, lose a little limb or a little toe. I know a guy that can cut them off real fast. You can get hypothermia, or you can get trench foot. Trench foot is when your feet are exposed to a cold, wet environment for too long. You lose heat pretty fast through your feet, but it's 25 times faster through wet feet than it is dry feet. So your body picks up on this and then starts cutting off circulation because it's like, oh my God, we're losing all this heat. And so you can kind of see where that goes once you start cutting off circulation, get a little amputation. I've seen a lot of this with like the unhoused population, definitely in the wintertime, but then also like living over in the Seattle-Tacoma area when we would go through like really rainy spouts, like, yeah, you'd get this coming in pretty often to the ER. Myth number 2, that you can't die from a broken heart. You actually can die. It's called Takotsubo syndrome or broken heart syndrome, and it's a type of heart failure. So your left ventricle, which is very important as it's part of like your main pumping chamber, it gets weak. It's typically from severe emotional or physical stress. More than 90% of reported cases have been women 58 to 75 years old. And research suggests that up to 5% women who are suspected of having a heart attack actually have broken heart syndrome. The exact cause of it is unknown. The theory is that it's like from the surge of stress hormones like adrenaline. It can be challenging to tell apart from heart attack when it's happening. It was first thought to be benign, but there's actually studies coming out that support ongoing subtle cardiac dysfunction, and it could have limited symptoms despite having left ventricle restoration of ejection fraction once you've healed from this. And EF is, your ejection fraction is like the efficacy of your heart pumping. So broken heart syndrome is unique in its characteristics that set it apart from other cardiac emergencies. And the shape of the heart is actually kind of like a telltale because your heart physically changes shape. Takotsubo means octopus trap in Japanese, and so this trap is like a type of fishing pot, and the heart resembles the shape of that fishing pot. So you do have to do imaging of the heart to be able to see it. So that's like, if you're having somebody that's presenting to the ER with MI symptoms, you don't really want to waste time trying to get imaging that might be unnecessary when the patient should be in the cath lab getting a stent. It will spontaneously restore itself. I've seen a handful in the ICU, and you really just kind of manage symptoms until the heart's resolved. All the times that I've seen it, it was with women in a given age range, and they were suffering from like some kind of emotional loss, heavy grief. The patients typically present with acute chest pain, shortness of breath, and changes on a heart monitor that would correlate with a stressful event. So you can see why it might kind of mimic signs of a heart attack, and you don't really want to dick around and do all this imaging if they need to be in there getting a stent. I heard this one a lot. If you swallow gum, it takes 7 years to digest. Julia Zampano is a registered dietitian at the Cleveland Clinic, and she says it takes 40 hours, just as any other food does, to make its way through the system. To which that I say, Julia, get your gallbladder taken out, and then you tell me how fast it takes. Because I'll tell you right now, it's not 40 hours. Sometimes, I swear to God, it's 20 minutes. We don't actually digest gum, though. We don't have the enzymes to do so in our system. So it's basically going to come out the same way it went in. The gum base is made of resins, emulsifiers, and softeners that can't be digested. So swallowing gum in small amounts, it's not bad. But if you start chewing a pack and swallow like a pack or two, it might lead to some vomiting, constipation, abdominal bloating, or pain, or changes in your bowel habit. There was actually a journal in pediatrics that had 3 cases back in 1998 that they were children who had swallowed gum and developed esophageal or intestinal tract obstruction after swallowing said gum. A 2020 case report in Journal Respiratory Medicine actually talked about a teenager that had an obstruction of their upper airway for days after swallowing gum. So, I mean, technically, yeah, you can swallow it. I wouldn't recommend swallowing a bunch, right? But you can, and it's not going to take you 7 years to digest. So that in itself is fake news. Cracking knuckles causes arthritis. As long as your joints are being cracked properly and you're not damaging the joints, you're good. When cracking knuckles, it actually releases gas in the form of nitrogen bubbles from the space around the joint, and the sound is triggered as the bubbles are compressed. There are some risks associated with doing this, but it's like when you're forcing them or you're being too rough with it. If you notice any kind of swelling or crooked fingers, probably need to see a doc because you could have ligament damage or even dislocated fingers, which I feel like you're going to know if you dislocated your finger trying to pop it. There was a 2017 study that found no difference in grip strength between knuckle crackers and non. There had been a study that claimed that there was back in 1999. But the 2017 study did find that there was a difference in the metacarpal head cartilage thickness in knuckle crackers and non, which can indicate osteoarthritis, but it didn't suggest that it was from cracking knuckles. Your body needs a detox, or your liver needs a detox. It's usually selling you teas or drinks or supplements or some kind of shit like that, right? It's all a lie. It can be a flat tummy tea or body detox tea, whatever it is, right? Okay, you know what your liver is supposed to do? It's supposed to detox your body. Do you have liver damage? Is it not working all of a sudden? If that's the case, you got bigger issues if that's what's happening, right? Your kidneys, your lungs, your skin, and your GI tract all help with detoxing as well. So once again, if you're maybe in liver failure, kidney failure, your lungs are shit, your skin is shit, and your GI system is shit, I don't know, maybe you do need help. But more than likely, probably not. Because what's in a lot of these detox teas is senna leaf. So senna leaf is normally found in these drinks, and so you're basically just going to be shitting your brains out. And senna leaf can be a stimulant, and so when you take a stimulant laxative for long enough, your body eventually becomes reliant on them to function. So then, you stop taking these detox teas or whatever, and then your body's like, hey, I don't have to move because I don't have that medication that's helping me move, and then you're going to get constipated. Many of these studies that try and support these detox bullshit things are small. They're poorly designed, and they're usually done by groups that would benefit from them coming out positive. And we all know that we have to look at the research itself to figure out if it's a credible source to begin with. I've been preaching this since day one. This one I actually followed religiously until recently. Deodorant, more specifically antiperspirant, causes breast cancer. Followed this one a lot, and it led me to probably be kind of stinky. And then I would have to reapply and be annoying and embarrassing because I'm a grown-ass woman having to reapply deodorant because I caught a whiff of myself. And then I spend the rest of the day thinking oh shit, did anybody else notice? Did they smell me? How long have I been like this? Why am I like this? I've tried all sorts of different natural deodorants, non-aluminum. I did the pit detox to try and help. But like I said, detoxes are bullshit. I used glycolic acid to try and help get rid of the bacteria that's what was causing the smell. I hit a point where I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to use deodorant. I've always wanted a breast reduction, so I'll settle for a mastectomy instead. Turns out there are no strong studies in people that link breast cancer and antiperspirant use, and very little scientific evidence to support this claim at all. The studies in people that have looked at this issue have been case-controlled studies in which people with and without breast cancer have been asked about previous antiperspirant use. These types of studies can be difficult to interpret because you're asking patients to think back on past use, and it isn't being actively looked at or tracked in the moment. People with cancer are more likely to recall exposures that they believe are related to cancer. And so there was a study comparing 800 women with breast cancer and a similar number of women without the disease, and they found that there's no link between breast cancer and antiperspirant, deodorant, or underarm shaving, which means I was stinky for no reason. And there's been like a couple of studies that have suggested a possible relationship, but again, results would need to be interpreted with caution because a small study size and design of study limits the conclusions that can be drawn from them. So go out, get yourself some normal deodorant, and don't be stinky. Okay, learn from my mistakes. And on that note, does carrying your phone in your bra cause breast cancer? No, it doesn't. There's been studies on mobile phone signals, and they do not link breast cancer and putting your phone in your bra. Scientists are currently monitoring for longer-term impacts, but also I know that there was brain cancer, nervous tissue cancer, whatever cancer, right? Brain and nervous system cancers have not gone up either, even as cell phone usage has ramped up. Do you know the time that I have lost and wasted? The times my phone, I put it into the band of my leggings and it slid down into my pants because I don't want to store it in my bra. I don't have anywhere else to put it. And I mean, the embarrassment that I've had. There was literally one time out in public where some guy was like, hey, you have something in your pants. And I so badly wanted to be like, no, I'm just excited to see you, right? No, it's my phone. Ugh, I don't know. So use your bra as storage, use normal deodorant. You're going to be all right. This one I'm going to absolutely utilize. Giving kids sugar will make them hyperactive. In the 1990s, the question was raised, does sugar cause kids to act a fool? In the 1995 Journal of American Medical Association, they published a meta-analysis, and after said analysis, the authors concluded that the studies to date found that sugar does not affect the behavior or cognitive performance of a child, but they cannot eliminate the possibility of a small effect. Larger scale studies would have to be done. The whole sugar sensitive is bullshit too. In a study that was comparing children whose parents described them as sugar sensitive and quote unquote normal kids, there was different diets that they had been on. There was analysis of the study that showed no significant differences. That being said, the jury is still out for kids with ADHD. In 2019, there was a systematic review and meta-analysis that looked at long-term effects of high sugar and saturated fat diets that can increase the risk of ADHD, but the evidence is weak, and even the researchers acknowledge that. So it's kind of what came first, the chicken or the egg, the cause or the effect. All I got from this is I can give my nephew a bunch of sugar, and if my sister wants to say, oh, it's going to make him hyper, I'll be like, one, maybe he's got ADHD. If that's the case, get in line, buddy. I feel like half our family has it. And two, do not deny my sweet little baby nephew the joys of life. Very few things are worth living for nowadays, and sugar's one of them, okay? We're going to live for sugar. Okay, and then this is the last one that I'll cover, and I feel like this has become very popular recently. I don't know, maybe because we're throwing science and knowledge out the door, we're now doing weird shit. So unpasteurized milk is better for you. Unpasteurized milk, or raw milk, is nasty and it's dirty as hell, okay? It's got a lot of disease-causing pathogens in it. It does not cure lactose intolerance, and it does not contain probiotic organisms. Raw milk does not cure asthma and allergies. There was a study that was weaponized by these raw milk hippies from 2007, but the study found an inverse association of farm milk, not raw milk. The crazy thing is, the scientists in this study even said, don't drink raw milk. It's nasty and it's dirty as hell. But these raw milk hippies somehow were like, oh, it's farm milk. They must mean raw milk. And so then they weaponized it. But it's not. It's dirty. Don't drink it. There's the claim that it's more effective in preventing osteoporosis. Not even sure where that came from, but there is no difference in calcium bioavailability among raw milk and pasteurized. You know what there is a difference in? Bacteria. There's no benefits for gut health. Like I said, there's no probiotics. It's got a bunch of nasty shit in it. As a matter of fact, it's got bifidobacteria. Bifidobacteria has been claimed to be a good bacteria in raw milk. Bifidobacteria is found in cows' GI tract, which means that it's present in its poop. So if you are drinking raw milk that has bifidobacteria, you are drinking raw milk that is contaminated with cow shit. You're drinking poop milk. And I will bully you for it until the day that I die. I will literally put it on my headstone. I will have it projected on there, right? There'll be a bunch of pictures of like me and Chris and Fern and our family if we have one. And then it's going to be a list of people that are drinking raw milk they're drinking cow poop milk. So that's gross. And I will leave you with that wonderful thought. I saw online some lady who's like trying to sue a farm because she was buying raw milk from it and then feeding it to her family. And then it made her family get sick. Right? It made her get so sick that she ended up going septic and she ended up miscarrying her baby. She contracted a bacterial infection from her toddler. The toddler was in and out of the hospital, even had surgery. And the mom says that the toddler's medical treatment's still ongoing to this day. She allegedly didn't know how bad it was for you, which I'm calling bullshit. You think in this year, 2025, that I'm going to believe you don't have access to the internet and you didn't look up raw milk? You grew up knowing full damn well about pasteurized milk, pasteurizations for food safety, and when you more than likely Googled where to buy raw milk, it didn't also come up with the warnings? I think even in Florida where she lives, like they have to have a label on it that's like, oh, for animal use, not human use, right, to sell it. Girl, be so for real right now. You and I both know that you can read, you can use the internet. You're a grown-ass woman. So that brings me to the end of my little myth episode. I wanted to keep it light. I wanted to keep it fun. I wanted to keep it short because your girl's got a lot of shit to do. I hope you all learned something today. Just trying to get ahead, like I said, of my podcast just so we can kind of prepare for the move. I don't have to take a bunch of time off. Keep you guys updated as it happens. Send us all the good vibes and wishes. Send Chris all the good vibes because he's the one that's going to be managing the move and not me. I'm going to start claiming princess treatment on that day. So I will see you guys next Tuesday. I'm kind of feeling something a little true crime. I don't know though. We'll figure it out. All right. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Okay. Love you. Bye.